What's up, everybody? Alex here, host of the Jiu-Jitsu Radio podcast. Now, this is the first video that I put out on the channel. In my goal to get you guys more content and more fun stuff to listen to and watch and whatever you want to call it, I decided to start up a new series on the channel to just kind of go over some videos, whether they're funny or they're technical, whatever, just something different other than just a podcast for you guys to have fun with. Hopefully you enjoy it. Before I start everything off though, I want to go ahead and ask you guys to like and subscribe. Please share the channel if you enjoy it. If not, cool. Leave a comment below. Good or bad, I'm always down to hear something and hear the opinions of everybody, whether they're good or bad. So hopefully you guys like it, but please share the podcast, share the YouTube channel if you enjoy it, and thank you very much for watching. Now let's get started. So now, as most of you know, if you listen to the podcast, I am very adamant about calling people out on their bullshit. Whether it's just an everyday person or it's someone who claims to be something that they're not, especially when it comes to jiu-jitsu. It's pretty much, it's not widespread, but there are a lot of people out there who like to bullshit and say that they're better or higher level than they are, especially when it comes to martial arts. There's tons of videos out there of these masters, whether it's a traditional martial art or something they created. My favorite is that Russian one where they're just like, and they're just hitting like a volleyball and they swear that they're badass.
We've got a badass over here.
I found something else that just completely blew my mind. Now, to give you guys a little backtrack, a few weeks ago I ran into an article, I ran into an article about a Judo brown belt versus a Jiu-Jitsu blue belt. Now, just hearing that, you'd think, yeah, it's pretty much going to go the way that you think it's going to go. Like a blue belt might get thrown, just smashed, and then something happens, like an armbar or something. That's the way that I was expecting it to go. I was completely wrong on both fronts. Well, semi. Basically, the Judo brown belt stood his ground, and the blue belt pulled guard, tried to anyway, put his foot up, got foot locked, walked away.
Break the wrist, walk away.
Jeez. I don't know if I can put that video up there. I think I'll throw that video up on here. Might as well just go on there. You guys will be able to see it. Anyway, from then on, I was like, something is a little fishy here. Something is not really kosher. So I decided to do some research. And lo and behold, I find out the school and the master that taught both of these guys. Yeah, the guy that gave this Judo brown belt a brown belt, and the one that gave this Jiu-Jitsu blue belt his blue belt. And that's pretty much bullshit. I did the research and I pulled together all the videos that I could find of this so-called master. I'm not gonna throw his name out there. My goal is to expose the bullshit, not bully people. But in some cases, you do have to kind of bully people and call them out on their bullshit. So here we go. One thing I did forget to mention is that this so-called master also calls himself a two-time world jiu-jitsu champion. And he also calls himself, I believe, a world kickboxing champion. Well, again, if you do your research, you'll find out that this world championship wasn't an IBJJF or anything. It was a tournament he put together inside of some high school or local, whatever, gymnasium that he put together, and all of about like 10 people that have probably never done any kind of grappling signed up, and he beat them all up. And I'm pretty sure that they were his students. So he calls himself a world champion. So with that being said, now you see why I get heated with this shit. Let's get this going. All right, the first video is called Two-Time Jiu-Jitsu World Champion name. I don't want to put the name out. So he's showing this amazing armbar defense. And, okay. What the fuck was that? I mean, and he slaps the stomach just in case, like, good job, buddy. Like, if you do this with your fingers and you're trying to defend an armbar, you're literally going to break all of your fingers, maybe even your thumbs, if you try to be a dum-dum and try to hold on like this. There's no way. Let me watch this again. All right, so first of all, flat out, this is the kid that he's taught how to do an arm bar. He's grabbing the wrist but leaning back without actually putting his chest on there. And I think he tells him like, all right, fall back or like pull back. Let me see. What's he say? Oh, he says go. Oh. So now he's not wrong technically that you could get out of an arm bar sliding back that way by putting that leg that's over your head under it and sliding back. But the fact that you do this is absolutely absurd, and I really refuse to believe that a two-time world champion in Jiu-Jitsu would ever tell you to do that.
I don't believe you.
I mean, I wouldn't even do that if I was rolling with one of like the little like 8-year-old kids, because they're gonna kick your arm and break your own fingers. Clearly, he hasn't taught this kid how to like close his guard, because he just basically leans forward and pins him down, and then he grabs a belt and steps back. Which again, it's not bad if you do it right. So I'll give him a little bit of leeway. The next video is Hapkido Association. Shake hands. Always greet your opponent with a firm handshake before they attack you. Oh, you got to break the grip by turning around and do-si-doing him. Oh, and the guy falls. And then kick him in the armpit. Yeah, make sure you get your toe deep in the armpit, because that'll stop any attack, especially if they have a knife or a gun. Just hold on to the wrist and just go ahead and kick them in the pit. Oh, your opponent grabs your hand. What do? You high five your forearm, spin it around and grab it. This is that Steven Seagal type stuff, which is okay. I think it kind of works. I guess you could, but then you also have no way to defend getting punched in the face with the opposite hand, unless you get lucky and you get attacked by a one-armed bandit or something. Gotta get that tiger claw in, sink the tiger claw. Now, make sure you step to the side of your opponent without putting any pressure on his back, and then wrist lock the shit out of him. Which again, you could wrist lock someone like that, but if you got your hand that far on their back, why don't you just keep it there and just mount the back? Because you don't know jiu-jitsu, that's right, my bad. Once again, your opponent grabs your wrist or your forearm, so you're gonna reach in under, completely negate the opposite hand, step back, kneel down, and wrist lock. Oh, and then, just switch arms while he's still on his hands and knees. Wrist lock to wrist lock. Oh, and then the Vulcan neck pinch. Look, man, I've been saying this for years. You don't need to learn how to do chokes. You don't need to learn a rear naked choke or an Ezekiel, none of that. Vulcan death pinch, AKA world championship status right there. It's so frustrating. He's like, come at me, bro, come at me. Oh, let me go ahead and grab that arm. Thank you very much. Oh, he tapped. Mind you, okay, hold on, go back. He tapped, all right? He taps, and instead of letting go, he just goes ahead and forces him to go down by yanking his arm even more. And then, let me just step on your leg and wrist lock you.
Bow to your sensei.
That's a good teacher. Hands up. Wrist lock. Ooh, back to the armpit. The lethal armpit. Yay! Vulcan death grip to the armpit. Told you. Works every time.
I've simply made the logical deduction that you are a liar.
And then you break the grip. And then you wrist lock. And just let him flop. And then you grab his fingertips. You don't need a wrist lock, guys. Just a little bit of that jazz hand finger magic. Dude, are you for real? I can't. I just can't. I just can't with this guy. I call that the Egyptian fingertip lock. You gotta get Salt Bay fingertip lock. That's what it is. That's what you gotta do. And then back to the pinch right here. A little fingertip action while he's laying down. You got to poke him in the neck. Dude, you got to be joking. And then the fake kneading the dough to the neck for the instant win. Even the kid in the background is laughing. The next video is just called Jiu-Jitsu. That's all it is. Just called Jiu-Jitsu. So he starts out in an open guard with his student, and I'm guessing he was trying to either go for an armbar or an omoplata, and then gets into, he could have gotten into a gogoplata. So I give him credit. He could have gotten into a gogoplata. He blocks the gogoplata, basically armbarring himself or bicep slicing himself if the student knew what he was doing. Leans back, oh, I remember this. He leans back for the leg lock with the knee reap. I don't get it. Goes for the gogoplata, blocks it, which he actually does it to himself. Pushing down the arm, leans back, and mind you, at this point you could just go around and go to side control and maybe go to the back. Because right now he has no control with the leg lock. His right knee is touching the floor, and he's going to swing that left leg over for absolutely nothing but a knee reap. I guess even like the knee reap would be like really weak at that point, unless he like threw his leg in. But here's what's bothering even more. That means his student has a black belt. You notice that? His student has an embroidered black belt. Hashtag World Champion. I can't. I'm not even going to keep going with that video. All right, this one is called so-and-so Jiu-Jitsu with so-and-so. Now the student, I don't want to rip on the student because it is not his fault. He doesn't know clearly that he's being taught bullshit, which is another thing that pisses me off because it's not fair to the kid that this guy really has the nerve to teach these people this stuff and telling them that they can defend themselves or that they can compete at a certain level by giving them the belts that he's given them. So that's really what irks me the most about all this. It's bullshit, and he should be ripped apart for it. You know, maybe if there's enough people asking to find out what this guy's name is, I'll say it. But he should be completely ashamed of himself for doing this to people. All right, so now he's showing another armbar defense. Now the student that has an okay armbar, he crosses his feet, which I guess it's not technically wrong, but it's not the best if you're being stacked up like that. So he stacks them up, crosses his fingers again. Remember, this is how you defend an armbar. Stop stacking, lets go of his ultimate defense to pull the arm down, or the leg down, I'm sorry, and he's gonna keep going, which you could still get armbar to shit into that. Goes back to grabbing his fist. Something's a little fishy on that one. Can I go back here? Passing the guard. No real control. Jumps back over the, almost getting caught. What he could have gotten caught himself in the half guard if he knew what he was doing. And then with the cradle. And then he taps on his student saying, "You did good, buddy."
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Dude, are you serious right now? Wait a minute. I just noticed that he went from like a black belt to a white and a red belt. The fuck is that? What martial arts does that?
Face to foot style. How'd you like it? Oh yeah? Try my nuts to your fist style.
Oh, this one's a good one. All right, so this is the first armbar one that I saw. Same thing, the kid has the wrist for the armbar. He lets go of his hand completely, so technically this is not really defending the armbar. And I pull my arm, goes back, locks. It's all about this. I can't tell this enough. Most technique, yank your own arm out, spin, face down. The kid taps to the guard pass. Climbing up, switch to side control, Screw the underhook, go straight for the bulldog choke, the little catch wrestling choke. And then he taps himself out. I'm just going to play that over and over again so you guys can just see the absurdity of all this. This one is called leg locks.
Okay, you got me? Okay, so this position right here.
He's on mount.
Goes to roll me like you did a while ago. Okay.
They're in a warehouse or a barrack someplace. All right, you want to log the legs in? All right.
Once I set my hook, and he goes to roll, and I'm just sitting up with it. Doesn't roll.
He rolls with it.
From here, I've got his leg.
Shut up.
See all kind of leg lock. Down,
Get the fuck out of my face.
up, toes, back, and my leg lock. This
I
way.
feel like that's more of like a massage you're giving him, like you're giving him like a good
Or I
stretch
can
there.
go in that position and go straight to the back. Thinking my hook.
Look, all I'm saying
Stick the hooks in to flatten them out.
is John Danaher's got nothing on this leg lock game. I mean, who needs the death squad when you got this man right here showing you the leg locks? You don't even have to get out of the mount. You just, meh, gotcha. World champ 2 times. Dude, are you serious? All right, that's it. I really want to put this guy's name out there and have him called out because it's absolutely absurd and disrespectful what he's doing to the sport. And he's teaching this to these kids. And I hope that, you know, I can't remember how old these videos were. I really hope that these kids realize this guy's full of shit and that they, you know, that they find a real jiu-jitsu instructor. Because God forbid they go to sign up for a tournament, whether it's IB, JJF, New Breed, Naga, whatever it is, and you know this kid thinks he's a blue belt or a purple belt or whatever it is, and he gets just wrecked. And most likely these kids are paying good money for it, and it's just not right, man. So I'm gonna let you slide, homie. I'm gonna let you slide for this one, but I would love to see someone like roll with this guy for real and see what happens. Just remember, Vulcan death pinch. All right, guys, that's it for me for this video. I'm definitely gonna be working on some other videos, stuff like this, whether it's commentary or just some fun messages and interviews with you guys. Please take the time to support my sponsors, Choke Aloha and Jiu-Jitsu Soap. Also, check out the podcast Jiu-Jitsu Radio. It's on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and I also have the videos up here on YouTube. Feel free to check out my company, Sonder Marketing, so you guys see all the great videos and photos I take of some of the best MMA and Jiu-Jitsu athletes in the world. I'm fortunate enough to get to work with some of the best Jiu-Jitsu companies out there. And if you want, check out my blog, mycosmicjourney.com. There you can check out a lot of the photos that I don't post up on Instagram, as well as all the random crazy adventures that I get to go on. And some of my artwork and photos too that I have up for sale. I have some Jiu-Jitsu shirts and artwork that I have up for sale, and it's all available on the blog, mycosmicjourney.com. Once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoy everything, please like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Us.